welcome to our workshop called Connecting AI Support Agents to Real Tools, Intro to MCP and Integration. So I'm Maya, founding engineer at 14AI.
Hi, I'm Marie, co-founder and CEO at 14AI. Welcome, everyone.
And in this workshop, you're going to discover how to empower your AI support agents with real world tools through learning about the Model Context Protocol and integrations. So before we get started, share in the chat where you're calling from and what your favorite animal is. So I'll start. My favorite animal is a dog. We have San Francisco dog as well. Parrot, that's awesome. From Philadelphia, I love foxes. From Miami, awesome. Nashville, dogs. This is great. San Francisco dog. Looks like we have a lot of dog lovers in the crowd. So before we start with our agenda and what we're going to be talking about during this workshop, I want to start with why MCP matters and what we think about MCP at 14AI. So at 14AI, we see MCP, Model Context Protocol, and we'll dive way deeper into this later into the workshop, as a promising step towards unifying AI tools and data in support workflows. So while today's agents can already integrate with APIs and internal systems, MCP introduces a standardized way to connect to tools with secure, permissioned access, which makes it easier to scale, maintain, and extend support capabilities over time. And by joining and participating in this workshop, you're getting a sneak peek into cutting-edge developments in customer support. So this is what we're going to be covering in today's workshop. So first, we're going to be discussing the integration spectrum of capabilities, integrations, and then we're going to have an interactive exercise. And then we're going to have an overview of MCP today, and I will also be sharing a live demo of MCP in action. And we are going to be talking then about agentic workflows, MCP-powered workflows, and then some security consideration for integrations and customer support. And then we're going to end with takeaways and next steps, and we'll share a link to a guide of everything that was covered in this workshop. Awesome. So let's get started with section one, where we talk about the integration spectrum. So understanding the range of integration possibilities opens new horizons for customer support, for AI and customer support. So from basic question answering to complex tool use, we're going to explore what is possible today and tomorrow. So here are the integration spectrum levels. So first at the bottom, we start with knowledge-only agents. So these answer questions using only pre-trained knowledge, and they're limited to information available during training. And they can't take actions or access any real-time data that might be relevant to your customers. Then we have API integrated agents. So these can take actions through custom API connections. They require tedious setup for each system, and they also lack standardization across platforms. MCP, and then we have MCP-enabled agents. So these use a standardized protocol for connecting to tools. There's secure permissioned access across systems, and it's easier to scale and maintain long-term. Now let's get started with our first exercise. So this one is called Spot the Integration. So for context, you have this customer message. I placed an order 7 days ago and still haven't received any tracking info. It's a time-sensitive gift. So a knowledge-only agent would respond something like this. I understand your concern. Typically, orders ship within 3 to 5 business days. I recommend logging into your dashboard to check your tracking information. If you don't see any updates, please contact our support team. So this, it gives context, but doesn't really give any relevant information for the user about their tracking info. So your task is, if an AI agent received this message during a live support conversation, what kind of integration could help it respond and accurately and helpfully in real time? Share your ideas in the chat and we will discuss. Great, we have our first response. Integration order lookup tool. We have integration with the shipping system. Great response. And integration with respective delivery service. Also an amazing response. These are all really good ideas, and these can help people get real-time info on what their question actually is. Feel free to share any more answers you have in the chat, questions throughout this entire workshop. We'll be monitoring the chat. Our next section is discussing integration best practices. So effective integrations transform your support experience from reactive to proactive. Let's explore how to implement these thoughtfully and securely to maximize customer satisfaction while also maintaining the integrity of your system. So why do integrations matter? So first, they ensure that agents can act and not just respond. Modern AI support agents can take meaningful actions instead of merely providing information, creating resolution rather than just direction for your customer. They can also help with reducing manual handoffs. So with proper integrations, agents can handle end-to-end tasks without transferring customers between systems or human agents, streamlining the support experience. And also, they help with real-world context awareness. So integrated agents interact with current customer data and systems, avoiding the limitations of siloed information and providing truly relevant assistance. And here are some best practices when you are using integrations. So with APIs and integrations, strong design patterns do make a difference. And these practices boost reliability, safety, and future readiness, whether you're using capabilities, APIs, or just testing your ideas in a sandbox. So first, you're going to want to define clear trigger conditions. So this means establishing when the agent should call a tool like get order status versus respond with general information. It's also important to include fallback logic. So it's important to plan for edge cases where no data is returned. And in this case, you could, for example, show a friendly message or escalate to a human. And then also, it's important to keep access scoped and auditable. So making sure that you limit what each integration can do and log all calls for visibility and security. It's also important to remember to lean towards determinism. So checking your input and code with hard rules and not relying on LLM generated parameters. For example, order ID. Now we are going to discuss MCP, so Model Context Protocol in the current status and in the future. So MCP represents the future of AI tool integration, which is a standardized approach that promises to revolutionize how support agents interact with the systems they need to serve customers effectively. So what even is MCP and what is today's reality? So you can think of it as a USB-C connector standard for AI tools. So it's already in use for dev tools like editors and desktop apps like Claude. And in support, MCP is still emerging. But here at 14AI, we are integrating the first remote MCP servers to enable AI agents to securely access ticketing systems and other tools. And here is a quote from Anthropic that could also help you understand what MCP is. So they say it's a universal open standard for connecting AI systems with data sources, replacing fragmented integrations with a single protocol. The result is a simpler, more reliable way to give AI systems access to the data that they need. And for context, Anthropic introduced MCP. So how would MCP actually work in a support context? So you can think of MCP as the hub for your support agent. The host would be a chat UI or Claude desktop where customer interaction happens. In terms of the client, this would be the agent logic, planning which tools to use and when. For servers, these would be tool endpoints, so refund, order lookup, creating a linear issue. And then for data sources, these are defined structures that agents can safely access. Today, this is theoretical in support, but it is proven in dev tools. And here is an example of an MCP-powered support flow. So if you were at the workshop last week, you remember that we talked about what an actual workflow for an AI agent looks like. And this is that, but with MCP. So First, the customer would initiate. So the agent receives a refund query from the customer, for example. Then we go into tool planning. So the agent plans tool use, for example, refund lookup via the Stripe MCP. Then we have a policy check. So the agent checks the refund policy document via a knowledge base integration. And then we have decision making. So an agent would validate refund eligibility or explain the refusal with a reference to a pre-established policy. And then we have the resolution. So the agent would deliver a response or escalate to a human agent if needed. So now it is time for a live demo where you're going to see how Claude Desktop can actually be used to create a linear issue via MCP. So this is where we're able to put everything together, and you are going to see how MCP works. MCP works live. So give me one moment, and I'm going to share my screen. So here I have Claude Desktop. So right now I have this. I've create a new issue in the refunds team in Linear. I give it a title, refund email has not been received. Description, I give context about what issue I'm facing. So several customers report that refund confirmation emails aren't being sent when transactions are processed via Apple Pay, appears to affect only mobile Safari users. So right now I'm going to send that. And now it is going to help me create this issue. So I am going to approve using this external integration linear. So it's going to get my team. So I'm going to say allow once. It's going to look for my refunds team. And now it is creating the issue. I'm going to also allow that. And now it tells me it's successfully created the issue in the refunds team. And here are the details. So I have this URL right here. I'm going to show you what that actually looks like in Linear. So here we have it. Sorry, and now give me one second. Now you're able to see what this looks like in Linear. So the question that I had, so the description, refund email not received, and we have that description right here. As you can see, it created this issue in Linear. So why does this matter? So it shows that MCP is working in real tools today. It's an example of a secure, structured agent action, and it shows how support use case could follow similar patterns in the future. So this demo showed you how using standardized protocols can enable AI assistants to perform meaningful actions across different tools while maintaining security and auditability. Now we are going to discuss security for integrations. So even the most robust integrations need thoughtful contingency plans. Let's learn how to build resilient systems that maintain security throughout. So here are some best practices for security. So first, we need to ensure that we limit tool access. So connect the agent only to the tools that it needs for the task, minimizing potential exposure points. It's also important to have tiered approval rules. So make sure to set specific rules for each action type. For example, lookups may need minimal rules while payments or cancellations require human approval. It's also important to have comprehensive logging. So maintaining detailed logs of all agent actions to support review, auditing, and troubleshooting when things go wrong. Also, regular permission reviews. So scheduling periodic audits of tool connections and permissions to maintain security. And now let's do an exercise. This one is called Spot the Security Risk. So here's the context. The agent is connected to order history and billing info. A customer says, "Can you refund my subscription?" Your task is to figure out what the agent checked before acting. And drop your ideas in the chat and I will read them and we will discuss. We have make sure the agent only triggers this workflow after verifying identity. Yes, this is great. Very important. Feel free to add your thoughts in the chat. And, if we move on, you can also, oh, great. Thank you, Kelly. We have check for previous refund requests and fraud patterns. Yes, very, very important. This is a super important consideration. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, feel free to share your answers later as well. So for takeaways and next steps, so what did we learn during the workshop? So integration transforms support. The leap from suggestions to actions can create tangible customer value and operational efficiency. And we also talked about best practices to build reliability. So API level design patterns can create consistent, secure experiences even before MCP adoption. Also, MCP offers a next generation foundation. So we're in the early days, but we are seeing rapid momentum. Even OpenAI, which is Anthropic's main competitor, they also announced MCP compatibility. So that just shows how much this is growing in the industry. And here's an exercise that you can do at home. Brainstorm your own simple API integration for a use case that you see in your day-to-day working with customers and think through some fallback logic and best security practices. So looking ahead, so in today's workshop, you learned how to build tool-based workflows with MCP and integrations. And in your practice, you can practice this by applying fallback and security patterns to your own support flows. And we have a workshop next Wednesday, same time. This is going to be about knowledge bases. So designing smarter support content, AI knowledge bases for teams that ship fast. And you're definitely not going to want to miss this one. And we also have the link in the chat so you can register right away. And if you found today helpful, you'll definitely want to join us next week to learn more about knowledge bases, AI, and customer support. So now it's time for some Q&A. So feel free to ask me questions and we'll answer your specific questions and get the recap. So we're also going to send you a link to the blog post summarizing today's session. So you're going to get all the information and you can also use this as a guide to reference. And if you have any questions or feedback about your workflows and integrations, you can always feel free to reach out to us. Contact us, team@14AI. And thank you so much for joining our workshop today. And we hope to see you next week. We'll stick around for some questions. Wesley, yes, thank you. Any chance that we can access past recordings? Yes. So all of our recordings are on our YouTube channel. So we will be sending that in the chat right now so you can check them out. Thank you, Ugo. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for attending, participating. Let's see. Awesome, great. So the YouTube link is in the chat. So all of our previous workshops are on there, and this workshop will also be going up there as well. Thank you, Anton. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, and have a great day. See you at the next workshop.